robots.
I was just gonna say that too.
Hello there, my lovelies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness, it's Mandela Thursday. Anybody want to say hello? Who wants to say hello first? Oh, I bet Joker wants to say hello first.
Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Who else do we have here? Come
Hello. On. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Connor, Diana.
Hi, guys. Hope everyone's having a good night.
Yep.
And our dear Ruby is, as you've noticed, once again missing. She was unable to make it, but you'll just have to do with us. And as we know, I am sometimes far too much, so I think we can manage.
Yeah.
I think we can manage. So yeah. So who's kicking it off? We didn't talk about that part.
Oh yeah.
You can. You can kick it off.
Well, it's the video, right? We're talking about the video that we.
Well, that was one of the first things we wanted to talk about. Yeah, was True Stream Media's video. I don't know how many of you got a chance to see. Put up, was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday, but it was basically about shared dreams. And obviously I'm not going to play the whole video because it's like 30 minutes long. But it's really fucking mind-blowing, and I'm highly recommending that you check it out. One thing that she talks about in here is that over I think it's 4 different occasions where her husband and on a couple occasions her daughter
and her mom
and her mother, right? They have shared dreams where it's not exactly the same, but where the details are slightly off, but where it's almost like they're having the same dream. And I have had this happen. I've had this happen with my husband. I've had this happen with my mom. And I've had this happen with my daughter. And
me.
and with you.
Yeah.
And with Diana. We've had it happen. And so, you know, I thought, well, this has got to be something. This has got to be something to do with maybe something to do with oh, I don't, the 5G, or with the mind control, and but then I started to look into it, and and what I was finding was that this is not new. I don't know how many of you know who Robert Monroe is.
I do.
Why can't I stop screen sharing? I want to stop screen sharing. Why can't I ever stop screen sharing when I want to? Stop, you bad girl! You bad girl! It won't stop right now. Stop, you dirty whore.
That did it.
You. Who owns you, you bitch? That's right. I'm gonna go back there in a minute. But okay, so I've talked about Robert Monroe before, I think, because he wrote a bunch of books, but he wrote the book Far Journeys, and Far Journeys was about astral projection. And he founded the Monroe Institute. He is the one who found hemisync, which is the frequency that can induce astral projection like that. Which is pretty fucking interesting when we're on this whole, frequency trail that we've been on. So the Monroe Institute has like a whole section where they're not only studying lucid dreaming, but they're studying, what did they call it? Shiza, hang on. I gotta look really quick and see what exactly shared dreaming is what they called it. So, basically, this is a thing that people have been doing for a very long time, and what TrueStream was talking about, like it's happening on accident for some reason, and I think that has to do with the mind control fuckery and the frequencies that I think they may be using to do it with. But I think that this is something that we have been doing naturally forever.
Really? Could very well be.
And the most interesting thing that the Monroe Institute has figured out, and this has been said on almost every different source that I went to looking this up. Is that a bug? No, it's not. Sorry, I thought that was a giant bug. Because that was going to be a really big fucking bug, and I was going to freak the fuck out. Is that the dream state is not something that we do, it's somewhere that we go. And that is that's one thing. I'll pull it up when someone else gets talking. I'll take a second and I'll pull it up. But she talks about at one point in a dream where Joker, you remember what she said about going? She had to go up a level to get out.
Oh yeah.
What did she say?
She remembers. I think that part of it was she remembers her. I think it's her husband. Was like in this like abandoned, dilapidated like building, and there was some like Asian, like scary Asian woman there screaming at him.
Right.
Red lipstick on.
In a different language.
Yeah, with red lipstick on, and she told him, "We have to go to sleep to go to the level below this to escape her." And when they went to the level below, like they woke up in a totally different dream. They both were aware of it, and they both knew that they were asleep in a level higher than the last level they just left. So they knew that they were actually asleep, like in a level up here. So they could like.
Yeah, this begs the question: is when we go to sleep, what the fuck really happens?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I've said for a long time, and you know, me and my friend Coop were talking about this back in the 80s. Where do we go? Because you know, especially over the last, you know, 4 or 5 years, I will wake up and my first thought will be, where the fuck did I just go?
Yeah.
Like,
it's
not, what did I dream? It's where did I go? Like, where did I just get back from? And I will wake up exhausted. And, you know, I mean, we share this all the time because we talk first thing in the morning. We check in with each other first thing in the morning. And so, it's not abnormal for any of us to wake up feeling exhausted the same morning.
At the same time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I was telling you, like before, it was like a kind of like a dream. I don't know if it was a shared dream, but it was kind of like a dream experience I had where it's like I'm living a completely different life in like this dream world where like, and I've grew up in this life because I've had this dream throughout my whole life. It's not like it's not the same dream over and over. It's a continuation of the dream. So like when I was little, when I was younger, I would dream about going to this comic shop, and it got to a point where I was a regular at this comic shop in the dream, and they knew who I was. They knew like the stuff I usually got.
Yeah.
And then probably about a year ago, I had this other dream where like I went to like this comic convention, and I met up with this chick, and she had a sister. She had a twin sister and a friend. And in the dream, like I had just met her, and we had to go to like her house to wait on her sister and their friend. And I saw like this wall with like this pixelated like superhero like art with this like superhero flying up, and that's where that dream ended. Then about a year later, because in the dream we had planned to meet back up, so a year later I went back to the same Comic-Con, met the girl, knew in the dream that we had this plan to meet up, and like we already knew each other. And we talked about the previous dream, about like when we first met and all that stuff. And the same thing, like we had to go meet up with her sister, and it ended on the same wall with that superhero like flying up. So that shared dream thing and the different levels she was talking about and that experience I had kind of makes me wonder if like maybe it's some kind of like frequency messing with our consciousness, and maybe this whole reality thing that a lot of people think is happening, maybe that's different levels of consciousness in like, maybe we're not going like anywhere else. Maybe we're going to different levels of consciousness in this quote unquote dream state.
Right.
And maybe that's the different,
right.
reality things. Maybe.
I can.
Yeah.
I can add. I can add a little bit to that.
All right.
A few years ago, about maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe a little more, I was getting into studying, but I was getting into lucid dreaming, and I was getting into psychic awareness and things, and I was using subliminal imagery tapes. And the first thing that this tape does is it has you create a world. A place within your head that you can go to, and you can do it for meditation. You can do it for whatever.
I had to do that for hypnosis therapy. Yeah.
So I created a place in my head. I created 2 places actually, and one of them was a cabin in the woods by a lake, and the other one was a mountain retreat on top of a mountain in the Arctic, you know, and whenever I go there, it's like a real place that I can talk to someone. Dead, alive, doesn't matter. I can talk to anyone I want to in that place. And once it was created, it's created. I don't have to recreate it anymore. I can just go there.
Right.
You know, it stays. You know, it's there all the time. So I think that whatever this dream world is, it's a place, not in our heads, but elsewhere, that you can use your mind to manipulate. You know, you can change things with just a thought. You know, because I created this dream world out of nothing. You know,
Right.
and it seems like that this what you're talking about, Joker, and is like that. You know, where you thought of something and then it happened. And I think that this is exactly what this is. You create a place on a plane, and once you've created that place, I think it's an astral plane, actually. I'm leaning towards that because it seems like if you astral project, you go through that place to go somewhere else. You know, you that's the place you transition from one place to another. You know, it's not like you start out here and then you were somewhere else. I think you go through that place and end up somewhere. And I think it's like it's kind of like hyperspace or something, because you can be anywhere on the planet and go anywhere else on the planet within a second, you know?
Right.
And I think you go through that place to get to that other place, you know?
It could be. Very well.
I mean, that's just my impression of it, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
Well,
but yeah.
And how much do we even know about, you know, the astral planes? I mean, you know, that's even that is.
We really don't know a whole lot.
Yeah, we know, you know, so we know so little about that even. I mean,
yeah.
Robert Monroe did do a great deal of work, and he spent so much of his life and his, you know, tens of thousands of astral travels. He was sort of like a cartographer of astral travel. And, you know, he was one who had tried to get close. He had found himself in a past life and tried to get close to himself, and he couldn't. There was like a barrier, like an invisible barrier, you know, and he, you know, had realized that there was some sort of like to where it couldn't create a paradox, you know. He could not, he couldn't meet himself, you know. And
right. You could watch, but
you know,
that was it.
Yeah, he could watch from a distance, a far distance. He couldn't even get that close. But I mean, that's an old book. I'm sure he did so much more.
I wonder if he actually could see himself as the younger him. Could the younger him see the older him, even though he couldn't get near him?
It wasn't even an older, younger him. It was a different life. It was a different life, and he could see himself. It was he could see himself in a cabin. I remember it was a cabin like in a mountain setting, and he could see himself like working like around the cabin, but he was like off in the distance. But he could see himself, but he couldn't get close enough to even like make out like facial details or things
facial
like
features.
that.
Yeah. Okay. So he was at a distance where the other him didn't see him. Okay.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I find it very interesting because, you know, I think that we've just scratched the surface of what our minds can do. According to what I read a study not long ago. They said that our mind can access 11 dimensions of reality, and this thing said we're capable of doing that simultaneously. So if that's the case, then we can access different planes of reality in our heads, and go through our mind.
Right.
Maybe using our pineal gland. Yeah, maybe accessing our pineal gland to
I can't say that
do
either.
that. Yeah, maybe we use that as a catalyst or something that helps us to access those dimensions of reality. I don't know. I'm only going by what I read, but it says we have the ability to access 11 dimensions of reality. It's very possible, we could be doing that and not even know it.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, what is reality? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's another step. Now that's the next thing.
We say reality and dimensions of reality, but how do we even say what is reality and how can we possibly count dimensions of reality?
I don't know. I mean,
it sounds great on paper, but it's like
I quote an article.
How the fuck can you possibly figure that shit out?
Well, here's the thing. What we experience with our senses is not reality. It's our impression of reality. Okay, we see something, but what we're seeing is not what really is. We're seeing our impression of what really is. What we think is there, or what we think we hear. But reality is something totally different. I mean, it's made up of energy. So we kind of exist in this energy soup, more or less. I mean, we're made up of energy, and everything around us is made up of energy. But it's shaped energy. It's I almost want to say cogent energy, but it's still energy. So I mean, we see a door or we see a table, but if you look close enough, it's just energy. It's nothing but energy. So what we think reality is, I mean, from our senses, is not what it really is.
That's where we're fucked. I mean, that's what's gotten us in this position, is because they are 20,000 steps ahead of us on knowing what reality is, knowing how to manipulate these things. I mean, they understand consciousness far better than we do. I mean, they could do mind control, microwave voice to skull shit back in the fucking 70s. And we're still sitting here going, no, they could never do that. They couldn't do that. They wouldn't do that to us, And
would.
here they are putting fucking thoughts in our head, and we wonder why, the lovely boy next door just, shot up the elementary school down the street, I mean,
and that's another whole. Now you're stepping into the next step, which is like MK Ultra and where they mentally change your reality to a point where you can be recalled by a word and sent off to do something. That's I mean, that's where they're headed.
The connection between all these is frequency. That's the thing that interests me between all this is frequency. Is these places that we go when we dream. Is this, if it's all frequency, okay? If everything is truly frequency, like we think it is, like it seems to be, if they've been able to understand that and manipulate that, then we would be ignorant to think that they are not using frequency to
So we're locked in
manipulate
a
our minds, to
Yeah.
manipulate our memories, to manipulate our thoughts, to manipulate what we think and what we see as reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you
So we're
know,
locked in a prison.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the debate with the Mandela effect is what's fucking reality, you know? I mean, reality to you is
Yeah. Yeah.
Bernstein, to me it's Berenstain, you know? But what is reality? What is really fucking real? But when it comes down to it, you know, if they have the ability to change in our minds what reality is, it doesn't matter what reality really is anymore, because it's
Exactly.
what they say it is.
Yep.
And if they've
Yeah.
really figured it out, if they really have it to that point, and the only thing that's holding them back is people like us who seem to be the glitch, because we can still see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we are the only thing
Yeah.
that's holding them back, you know, I mean, at some point they're going to figure us out.
Well, Nikola Tesla said that, if you want to understand this place where we live, you got to understand frequency. And I think you're right about that. I think that maybe when we shifted, it's frequency that changes, not necessarily. Um, what I mean by that, I mean we're shifted, but we're shifted between realities, but it's only a matter of frequency that shifts us.
Right.
Like maybe it's 1 point or 4 points or 5 points that separates us through the barrier. You know what I mean? And maybe when they change that frequency, then that's when we shift to the next level.
Right.
Right.
If that makes
It
sense.
also could like go back to the shared dream state. Like if they're fucking with the frequency, like say for like the Schumann resonance, they say is like the frequency of the earth. So if they're messing with that, say that it's vibrating at whatever frequency, and then they kind of mess that, and like we all have our different frequencies, like throughout whatever.
Yeah.
And if they manipulate any of that, say at some point it bottoms out, and kind of like a bunch of us come in like the same level of frequency as everybody else, which could put us in a spot where we could have shared dreams, because at that moment we're all vibrating at that same frequency.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's that's what I'm wondering is, you know, are things like shared dreams and not just shared dreams, but when we've had the same thoughts, you know, is that when we are, is that when we're on the same frequency, or is that just when they're fucking zapping us the same, you know?
Right,
I mean,
right.
Yeah, right.
or
Maybe
or is
we're
it
all
all
getting
the
hit
same
at the same
fucking
time.
thing, you know? Or is it all just the same thing anymore, you know? Like,
That's what I'm
Well,
worried about.
Then you have to ask yourself a question, and here's something I would like to know your opinion on. Maybe even go to the chat. What are the archons? What is the they involved here?
yeah.
Because obviously it's not just humans.
Right.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
of course.
it has to be
Yeah.
something more than that. And if it's something more than that that's keeping us in this prison, then we have to ask ourselves, what is that more than? What is an archon? What is a,
Yeah,
whatever.
I have my thoughts on that, but I don't know if people want me to go there.
Go there.
Go there.
Well, explain what archons is for someone that might not know.
Yeah, please.
You want me?
Please explain. Yeah, because I'm not really sure. I know what it is.
Well, if you go back to the well, it's that word actually comes from the Greeks. But if you go back to the Gnostic creation myth, do any of you in the chat know about the Gnostics and the Sophia and the creation myth there? It talks about how we were created. But what it talks about is how the god of this place was created, and that's Yaldabaoth, and that is Lord Archon. And from him came the Archons, who some people, I mean, they've been called the Watchers, the Reptilians, the Anunnaki, angels. They've been known by a lot of different names. And every religion has a different name for them, but they're all basically, the same thing in each system. But a lot of people are starting to believe, or have started to believe, that the Anunnaki, the Archons and the Greys are the same thing, and that I just don't know if that's true. A lot of other people think that it's the reptilians that are the Archons, and the Greys are just sort of their robot, sort of,
slaves.
Yeah, sort of their slave race. But within this story, it says that the god of this place is basically that God and Satan are the same person, that it's a trick, and that this is a prison, and that it's their prison, not ours, and that Sophia's sort of, way to give us protection was to turn herself into Earth and to kind of protect us. And that's kind of where the whole Matrix thing came from, is that we are trapped within this matrix that's been created around us, but that it's not our matrix. We did not create it. It's not our prison. And the people who are prisoners here, the Archons, the Reptilians, whoever you want to call them,
Anunnaki, whatever.
It's their prison. This is their prison. So yeah.
And who would we be then?
That's one
in
take.
This whole equation.
That's just one take. It's just my take on it, and one very short take. No, I'm for the people who are gonna rip that apart.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a very short, very simple, very
Yeah.
Keep in mind,
so
people,
that at least
we
explains
talk about
what the
things
Archons
that
are.
will turn your head over. So
Yep.
just saying.
I could go on about this for hours and hours.
I guess we're trying to understand what this is, though. I mean, if we're shifting between frequencies, and each frequency moves us into a different, well, for lack of a better word, realm or universe,
Yeah.
then every time they change that frequency, it would shift us, our energy into that place. They wouldn't be shifting us, they'd be shifting our energy, basically.
Yeah.
And isn't one of the things that people say is the Archon? It's the Archon's prison, but basically we're their fuel. Like they feed off of our energy and
it's
stuff.
like Michelle's saying in
Yeah.
the chat.
Yeah.
That's part of why that this place is such a negative, dark, you know, fucked up place, is because they feed on, you know, sadness
Fear.
and depression and hate and fear and all of that. And, you know, the more of that there is, the more food there is. And, you know, we are a fucking buffet, you know.
So they appear to us as demons to scare us, basically.
Some people can consider them demons. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. Well, wow, that's deep.
I know.
That's a deep subject. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm like, wow, we scratched the surface here. We could dig in.
I've been writing stuff down the whole time you guys have been talking. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to go.
I could really go way deep into that one, and would be happy to at any time, because
we can do a whole show on that.
Yeah, I would be.
Well, you're gonna have to do a whole show on that one.
Show on that one. Yeah, I'd be thrilled to do a show on that one.
I think I would love to hear all that, Atlas. Actually,
I would too. Actually, I would like to hear the whole story.
What?
I said I'd like to hear that whole story. You know, I'd like to hear the whole tale. You know.
Yeah, it's really.
I like to dig in.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, it's really
interesting
because it brings the feminine into the creation story.
Yeah.
Right.
Of anthropos, of humans. Which is you know, which I always kind of dig, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I wanted to share now. I know
You're
this
speechless.
is. Yeah, I know it's a lot to take in. It's a lot. Well, because
fucking ton of bricks.
She is with a stone there. I gotta think about it.
My work here is
done. Be bad.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
Well, you know what we got to talk about next? You know what we got to talk about, you guys?
What?
What's that?
We got to talk about the fucking phone anomaly. We got to talk about that.
Yeah.
We got
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, Diana needs to talk about it too, because
since we went so fucking heavy, let's bring it down to a very interesting couple of stories that are just head scratchers, that have us going,
yeah.
What the fuck?
All of us. It has all of us.
Yeah, because it includes all of us. And then we also have a second story that doesn't include any of us. Which I'll actually tell that story first.
Okay, all right.
Because it's shorter and it doesn't include any of us. So here, let me read this to you real quick, okay? This is from a woman named Tori Stute. Tony Stute. And this
Shout
is
out to her.
An experience
to her.
that happened to her. I would like to describe a strange thing that happened on Monday night, November 13th. At around 6:00 p.m., my husband finished his dinner and turned off his phone and put it on the charger and left the phone on the kitchen table. He wasn't breathing well, so he went to bed and started using his oxygen machine. I sat at the kitchen table and watched videos. Around an hour later, I got up from the table, walked to our bedroom, and asked him, "How are you doing?" Then my phone rang, so I left the bedroom and went back to the kitchen to answer it. That's when I seen. I'm not going to read it as is. I'm going to fix any errors. I can't fucking help it. I'm sorry. I tried. I fucking tried. I really tried. But
I know. Okay, go ahead.
That's when I saw who was calling. It was my husband, Blue. BLU is what it says. But he is in the bedroom and his phone is 2 feet away from my phone, still on the kitchen table. Blue yelled, "Who is on the phone?" I said, "You are." I picked up my phone and I took it to him and showed him. My phone said the caller, Blue, at 7:01. I went back to the table where his phone was and turned it on. I looked up the last call made from his phone and it said wife, 7 o'clock. That's me, just the two of us at home. How could a phone that was turned off call another phone on its own? Strange. So,
Yep.
Wow.
that,
Anomaly.
that little neato, little neat little thing.
Yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
Like what?
Because
Huh?
Like what just happened?
Yeah,
because
right.
we've all been experiencing stuff with time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, for a while there, it seemed to be where time was, where we were having time slips, where we were like jumping.
Yeah.
And then time was speeding up. And then time was like jumping around. And now I don't know what the fuck time is doing.
I don't know either.
Because now,
No.
Because we lost how many hours?
What
Was
did
it
we
2
have-
hours or 3 hours?
what did we have
3 hours.
happen the other night? I don't even know how to explain
last
what we
night.
had happen.
That was last night.
Well, it
I can-
happened
well,
the night before, though.
It was the night
Yeah.
before last.
well, yeah.
Yeah, it was the night
before,
before
you're right.
last now.
Okay, so
Last night
Yeah.
to me because I'm fucked up, but
Yeah.
so we were talking. I was talking to Alice super late, and which we thought was about like 1. What did we say? 1:30?
Yeah, we finished our call about 1:30 in the morning, and I had to get up. Usually,
At 5.
I can sleep to whenever, but I had to get up at 5 a.m. because I was going with my husband to a thing. So I had to get up super early. So I was like, I have to get off the phone. I have to get off the phone.
Yeah. So whenever
As soon as
We
I
were
hung up with her, I sent my
oh,
husband
yeah.
a text message that I had meant to send him before we got on the phone, which was 2 hours earlier. Actually, was it 10:30? That was when I should have sent the text, but
Yeah.
I sent it at 1:30 instead. Which is when he got it, and he was like, at the time, he was like, "Oh God, I hope there was a huge delay there, and she's not still awake, because if she is, oh fuck."
Yeah.
He was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to get up and make it for this really important thing the next morning. So then, how did it even come up? How did we figure it out?
Well, because you said, well, we were up super late, and I looked at my phone, and I
Right.
was like, I got off the phone with all of you guys at 10:30. Or
Yeah.
10:30, yeah.
11.
It said it was 11:30.
Well, you
11:37.
called me
11:30.
at
Yeah, you were like, no, it was not that late.
10:37.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
arguing that it was not that late.
Your
Yeah.
time.
I had
Yeah,
to
it's
do
not that late.
screenshots. I had to do screenshots and explain. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
well,
guys.
She's like arguing that it's not that late that we got off, and I was like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
And so I pull my phone, and I'm gonna prove her wrong, and I look at my phone, and I look, and it says fucking 10:30, and I was like, oh my God, I don't even believe this. And so I looked to see what time I sent the message to my husband, and it also said 10:30. And so that's when I'm like screaming for him to come downstairs
And
to
he
get
even
us down
talked to us
here
about it.
and get down
Yeah.
here and confirm this shit for everybody and like show us his phone, which is obviously going to say the right time 1:30 because he's not in on this shit, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking 10:30 as well.
Yeah.
It was super, like, weird.
Although it did say 1:30 on my phone, but at that same
you're
time
East
it
Coast.
would be 1:30 for me. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, that was a
But
show
what was-
night. Like we don't
Yeah.
even finish talking after show until
No.
like fucking
1
10
o'clock.
you know? Like
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was just so weird how everything
What was
went
his?
from
what'd you
1:30
say,
back
yeah?
to 10.
His was like an
Yeah.
emotional response to it because he was like, "That must have been a glitch because you
Yeah.
sent the okay at 1:30 instead of
1:30.
10:30."
Yeah.
And he said
Yeah.
his initial response was that was just a glitch in the phone that caused it to send later.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had thought like, "Oh, I hope that was a glitch." He
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
that was a glitch in the Matrix that kept that, you know, kept that text from going through all these hours. He had hoped
Yeah.
I had sent it at 10:30 and he didn't get it until 1:30, and he had hoped
Yeah.
it was a glitch in the Matrix.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you know,
It's just weird
um,
how it was 3 hours. Like, it was literally 3 hours later. Everything
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
3 hours difference.
3 hours.
So, yep.
Yeah.
So we lost whatever.
which is
Well,
so
whatever
fucking
time.
weird,
I
man.
don't know.
And
So
then
fucking weird.
here's the question now. You saw it as 1:30 when you got off the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
phone?
Yes, you know, all
Yeah.
of you.
Yes.
Okay.
I
absolutely.
remember it being late.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was 1:30 when y'all up, but somehow reverted back to the time before the time.
Hold on, you're
Right.
cutting out. You were cutting
Oh.
out. What was that?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're
Can,
cutting out a
can you hear
little
me
bit.
now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so for somehow you reverted back to a time before the time that you guys hung up,
Yeah.
Yes.
which
Yeah.
makes absolutely no sense.
Exactly.
So how yeah,
Right.
It took us
time
back to
basically
the time
reversed.
before the call started.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even able to call you guys till later because you guys know my schedule.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. No,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
But
Yeah.
Joker on read the right time.
Right.
but he's 3 hours difference.
But I am 3 hours. Like, well, me and you, Connor, we're 3 hours ahead of you.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
yeah, so like yours only read the right time because of the time change, not because
Exactly.
it was
Right.
the right
Right.
time,
Right.
not because of
'Cause
anything
then
else.
it would
Yeah.
have been.
But I mean, but what I'm saying is his didn't revert back.
It did
Because-
because it's a 3 hour time difference between the East Coast and West Coast. So
so if
his
if,
is saying one something, so
Right.
it would
So
have
if
been
she
4
called me-
something his
right,
time.
right. If she called me and mine said 1:30, or hers was 1:30 and then 4:30 for me, but
Yeah.
it was still
1:30.
Diana, when you made, did you? I don't know how to ask that question. This is such a fucked up subject. When you called Alice, was it 10:30
Mhm.
for you?
It was.
Like
let
in
me
that
look at
in
it
that
really
moment?
quick. Let me look. Well,
Look,
that was later.
When the
'cause
first
I
time she
wouldn't-
called me, you mean?
right. Well, the
No.
time.
Because I
Were
was
you-
talking to you guys. I was talking
Right.
to you guys, and then we got off, the phone because I had to deal with the stuff at the house, and then I waited until it would have been like 11:30, 10:30. What was it? It'd be like 10:30 or 11:30.
It would have been.
Between
it would
that
have been
time.
around 10:30 for you when you called me.
Yeah. Okay. So Here, let me look.
Do you remember
What was-
that night? And do you remember what time it was when you called? Like, we're okay. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I remember calling you guys because that was after the husband left.
Right. So, do you remember what time that was? Right.
Well, he leaves about 10.
Yeah,
10:30.
He leaves
Okay.
work at like 10:30.
So for you, it was still 10:30, and then
Yeah.
when you got done talking
but
to
I had a whole
Alice
bunch of canceled calls. That's the weird thing. Like,
oh, that is weird too.
because I didn't cancel any calls.
No.
Like, so 10:06, it said that I canceled a call, which he was still home, so I wouldn't have called you guys, and because I'm trying to help him like get ready for work.
Yeah.
Then 10:07, and I'm like, okay, those two might have been accidents, but then calling Alice, it says 10:39. And then Joker is, hold on, 10:38. And it said that I called you for 47 seconds. So that's just, I'm like completely freaked out by this whole situation because I was like,
I know.
Yeah.
That was a big
so bizarre.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It was
It was
a weird one. It was a weird one.
Yeah.
It was a weird one.
So basically, you all experienced a time anomaly.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. So the other one, the first thing you discussed was spatial anomaly, because she got a call from her husband, but her husband was there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it had to be a spatial anomaly.
Right.
Well,
and in this case,
that could have been.
I guess it could have been time anomaly too. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, he could have called her, but then again, the time on his phone said 1 minute before her phone rang.
Right.
So
could have been a different day.
Well, and the thing is all of our times match up, just 3 hours difference. Like,
wow.
That's the thing, like 3 hours difference.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
That is strange.
Fucking it's really very bizarre.
Yeah, it is bizarre.
That was a weird one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I'm gonna leave that one open.
I'm leaving that one open.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. I'd like to see more of that personally. I'd like to see more
does anybody in the chat room have an experience like that?
There you go.
Yeah.
You might have like a time anomaly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is we were just chatting, and like it kept going, and then we were like, well, shit, you got to get up and like, and
I know I got to get up in a few hours. Yeah.
Alice is like, I got to wake up in like 4 hours, and I was like, oh shit. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, right. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
I wouldn't keep her. I mean, if I could keep her, I would. But like,
I know.
This from the girl who called me back twice after we hung up. I wouldn't keep up. But for a little bit longer, I would.
Yeah, okay, I got to do it.
Give me 20 minutes.
I got to do it. I'm sorry. It has to be.
Years ago, me and my ex-husband, we had no landline at the house. We lived near, actually right next to the landfill. So the rats had chewed all of the wiring. So we were not able to have a landline at the house. It was a really cool place to live. Let me tell you. So awesome.
Yeah, it sounded like.
Super cool. But one night we have the cops show up at our house because they got a 911 call from the house. But the weird thing is that night he had paid like some spiritualist woman that he met. We were always having relationship difficulties, but he had paid some spiritualist woman he met to do like a cleansing of our relationship that night. And right at midnight, they got a 911 call from our house, and the cops show up, and we don't even have the ability to call 911.
Yeah.
It was a call from a landline from the house that
That's crazy.
we don't even have. Yeah.
So did you guys share with them the fact that you couldn't have made the phone call because you don't have a phone?
Yeah, and they were like, what the hell? I mean, the cops were like totally tripped out by it too. They were weirded out by it too, because we showed them like we have no landline, like we don't even have the ability to have a landline. And they were like,
Yeah.
wow, okay, so okay.
Everything's cool.
That's weird.
We're out of here.
Yeah.
We would really like to leave now because this street is
Right,
creepy
quickly.
anyway. It was a creepy,
right.
it was a creepy street with like, 3 houses, and behind you is a landfill, like it's, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It
Sounds
was
like a good place to live.
It was, yeah.
Michelle in the chat said that with her mom, she picked up the landline and she could hear her mom in her house, and she recorded it.
Was her mom in? Wait, I don't understand. What her mom in the house? I'm confused.
Yeah, hold on. Well, she says, with my mom, I picked up my landline and I could hear my mom in her house, and I recorded it for her. So I guess she picked up her landline at her house and she could hear her mother in her mother's house.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, phones, and we can't say that it's just cell phones, because this has been happening with, back to landlines
for years.
So.
Oh yeah.
There's something, and I mean, phones, electronics. I mean, there's something that makes it possible for that to be able to be a way for things to, I don't want to just say communicate, because we're not just talking about beings communicating. We're talking about other things here. We're talking about, because what happened the other night with us with the whole time thing, I don't think that was something communicating with us. I think that was that was something else. Some sort of time slip thing.
Yeah, that could have been an accident. Like maybe whatever, if they were doing something, maybe it was like a fuck up.
Yeah, we got caught.
Yeah.
We got caught in the middle of something.
No, and I felt super tired the next day too, because it was like
so bad.
And we usually stay up late, like we do.
Yeah,
we all
always.
stay up late talking,
we do.
And
just really bad.
Whatever.
I still haven't really recovered.
The next day was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I went and did stuff yesterday that, I was like on my
but
feet,
you had
which
other
I usually
stuff
don't
going
do,
on.
but I'm still like, I still.
And then today I stayed on the couch watching Meet the Rob, whatever that new that show is. They're in New Zealand, and oh gosh, and they got Thor, and they got all the. Have you guys watched this show?
What?
Vikings?
No, it's called
The Avengers.
Something the Robinsons. No, it's called something the Robinsons. Can somebody help me in the chat? Hold on. So it's this new show.
Most people watch TV. We go through this every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Our people don't watch TV.
Well, no, this is actually like it's a good one.
Is it an old one?
Or this is
no, it's new. It's a new one, and so they have like Thor, and they got like all the gods, but they're in like everyday people.
Oh, okay.
And they're all in New Zealand.
Oh, it just says the Robinsons. Is it the Robinsons?
The Robinsons. I thought it was like, I don't want to say Meet the Robinsons because I have kids and I know that that's a movie. So, or it's like.
Right.
You said.
The Johnsons.
Typed in the
Johnsons. That's it.
Yeah.
Gosh. That show is superb, guys. Like, seriously.
Well, there's another one called American Gods. That's another
I've
sort
not
of
seen
show
that
like
one, but
that.
people have told me that where they talk about like there's
The
a
Johnsons.
TV
How did
god,
I
there's an
say
internet
Robinsons?
god,
Gosh.
Yeah.
a phone
Yeah.
god.
It's super good. Super good. Like, super good show. My husband's like, it's not as stupid as what you think. And I was like, all right, I'll sit here while you fall asleep and I'll watch it. And then, like, 5 hours later, he's like, how many episodes did you watch?
All of them.
I'm like,
All of them.
I was like, I don't even think I ate breakfast.
I just sat here watching.
Or fed the baby. Not a baby, but.
By the baby.
Michael Evans in the chat this afternoon. I was sitting in front of my boss's desk looking out the window, and I saw a huge rainbow. Moments later, 50 to 70 white birds, pure white, just go flying by.
Wow. Well, that's amazing.
There's like all kinds of that weird shit going on, you know? Like,
yeah.
I think there's clues everywhere. Like
there are.
Yeah.
That's why that's why we say awake, because, you know, like, we're paying attention to these things. And,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, yeah, we have to be paying attention.
it's like
And and not only that, you have to listen to everybody else as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to.
for real.
You can't discredit
For
like
real.
anything really, because this is
Yeah.
all fucking crazy in itself. So
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
it sounds crazy. You can't just
It all
dismiss it. 'cause
sounds insane. It all sounds insane.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, do we
like-
want to get into this other
Oh, right.
topic really
Yeah.
quick? Because
Yeah.
it's already 7. So,
What was the other topic?
the mind control stuff, the mass mind control.
I don't know if
Who's
we
up
have.
to it?
Well, we can talk about it
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, we can talk about it a
I was
bit.
watching it today,
Yeah.
and I came across an idea that I had actually written a post about a while back. It was about a carrier wave, and the fact that they project this carrier wave. And this carrier wave, I mean, I've heard it called a lot of things. I've heard it called the veil. I've heard it called, other things. But supposedly, this carrier wave is supposed to keep people asleep. Basically, it can't see what's going on. Okay, you don't anything that's outside of your, life basically makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. It's you don't even care about it, and yet the people like us are not affected by the carrier wave, and that's the problem. And I've heard that this mass carrier wave, that's why they're putting out more and more cell towers and allegedly Gwyn towers and other
Right.
things, because they're trying to power this carrier wave so that it reaches further and further, so that it could reach everybody, so that everybody is put to sleep basically by it, and then this is all alleged. Obviously, we can't prove it. It's a theory, but the bottom line is,
We say it's fucking alleged.
yeah, I know, but here's the thing.
I'm waiting for the
Fucking
tattoo.
allegedly.
They are putting out more and more of these towers. They are making them so you don't really notice them. They're turning them into trees. They're turning them into bushes or whatever. They're turning them into cactus. They put them in cactus.
Palm trees here in LA.
Yeah. Palm trees. I saw cactus. I saw here where I live. They're made to look like pine trees.
Mhm.
And bottom line is, this carrier wave that they're putting out there, projecting, may well be what we're talking about, in that it may be a certain frequency that they use.
But who are they? That's the
Well,
question.
again,
who are they?
That's
that goes back to what Alice was saying. The archons,
right.
we call them 100 things: Luciferians,
I've been
Illuminati,
If
whatever you want to
I've been
call.
looking into the Illuminati a little bit lately.
Yeah.
And it seems that they have their hand. Well, we already know this, in like pretty much every single agency,
Everything.
Every
like
cookie month.
CIA,
Yeah.
HARP, CERN,
Yeah.
DART, like whatever, DARPA,
Whatever. DARPA. Yeah.
like everything.
DARPA.
Yeah. All this stuff. Like
Yeah.
they are completely,
And all the major corporations. And all the
and
major
all the
corporations
major
as well.
corporations
Yep.
and stocks and
Yep.
this and that, like things
Yeah.
that make our world go round.
Yep.
You know,
Allegedly.
Yep.
allegedly.
Yep.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to bring up one guy who his name is Nick I want to call him like Nick Bitch. Like
I
know.
know.
Nick Nick Bigitch.
Okay.
Like whatever.
Gitch. Yeah.
Bigitch. Okay. So that's
Okay.
close enough, okay?
Nick
So
Big
this
Bitch.
guy,
Yeah.
this guy was whistleblowing.
He's got a big bitch and I cannot lie.
He was
Yeah.
whistleblowing and like blowing
Yeah.
everything up. Wrote
Yeah.
a book. All
Yeah.
this stuff. And now he's kind of like, he's fizzed out, by the way. We all know how that happens. And
Yeah.
then, but he's saying that it's all through DARPA. He's saying that all the mind control, not all of it, but like most of it is being used through DARPA.
Yeah.
So
that's what I've been frequency.
What is
Fucking-
DARPA?
Yeah.
That's what I've been saying. It's fucking
it is the
frequency.
Defense
DARPA.
Advanced Research Project.
Technology.
I
Yeah, they're
totally-
basically technology.
I totally
It's
had to write that down.
Fucking frequency, man. It's
Yeah.
fucking frequency.
It's
But
reminds me of HARP because it's the same but on a bigger
Yeah.
scale, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Makes sense, yeah.
But you know, when we're saying this, we're talking about a carrier wave. Now, this is not something that they just periodically put out there. This is something that's out there 24/7. Now, you know, it could be that it's coming in on TV sets, on a TV wave, on a radio wave, on a, you know, who knows? But it's always on. You know what I mean? It's like Wi-Fi. It's always there. You know.
Yeah.
And so maybe
They're
the
in
reason
like-
they're jumping to 5G is because they're trying to get us, and they want to put us to sleep. And maybe they felt they had to crank it up a bit. You know, that whatever it is that is the carrier wave wasn't able to take us out at 4G, so maybe it'll take us out at 5.
I mean, they're
Because
supposedly the
they're
ones
rushing it.
who created the internet, right? I mean, that's the fucking story,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're the ones who
Yeah,
created
yeah.
the fucking internet. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
but they're rushing it now. They're rushing 5G.
right. But I think that, you know, my theory has been for months now that, you know, that I think that it comes down to that somehow with frequency, because I don't think that it can be done any other way that makes sense. It has to be frequency, that is how they are doing the memory manipulation. That's how they're doing the mind control. And I know people don't like to fucking hear that. I know they don't like to hear that that's how the fucking Fruit Loops shit
Yeah.
is fucked up. I know they don't like to hear that it's fucking mind control or memory manipulation. I know they don't like that. I know that's not
Because people want a more natural reason. You know what I mean?
right.
They're
Or
like,
more
oh, we're
interesting,
just.
you know, they want to. They'd rather believe that they went from, you know, Orion's arm to fucking Sagittarius or something. I know
Okay,
that.
I might think that.
I know that
that's what
sounds
happened.
way more fucking cool, man.
Wait,
That sounds
wait. She might think that.
I'm joking.
That's
Oh,
way more
God.
fucking dope to me too, okay? I would much rather fucking have that be the fucking deal. But I don't think it is. And there's nothing that I have seen that has shown me that
Yeah.
that's even slightly a possibility that we're shifting timelines or shifting realities or anything else. What I have seen is evidence that they are fucking with our minds, that they're fucking with our heads, they're fucking with our memories. And there's proof, there's evidence, there's patents. For fuck's sake. Like, how long are we going to sit here and, like, let that theory fucking stay dusty on the shelf because we don't like how it feels on us?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna fucking pull it out, fucking put it on, and, like, fucking wear that bitch out on the street and fucking make it work? Because goddamn it, I'm telling you, that is where the fucking answer is. Yep. That's where the fucking answer is. And if I'm wrong, I'll be the first to say that I'm wrong. But I believe that is where the answer to the whole Mandela effect lies.
Well, I want to say something here. I just want to say that a few months ago, me and a friend of mine, Candace, we got into doing research on mind control with different types. And she had brought it to my attention, and then we tried to get into it. We tried to get into it a little bit, and basically what we found was, I mean, at that time we were thinking it was something that they're turning on and off. You know, that it was something like a skull to, sound the skull, or voice the skull, or it was something else. But as time went on, I realized that it couldn't work that way, because it would have to be something that was on all the time, and it would have to be something that radiates out from these antennas, and it just, it's always on. Whatever they put in there, type in there, that's what we see or what we experience.
I think that there are these things that we've been calling shifts are these pulses. Like, remember the rage pulse that we experienced recently?
Oh my gosh. That was
I think these pulses that happen are them, whether it's them trying to perfect it, or whatever, because it's obviously not. It's obviously not where it's supposed to be, or we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
No.
Right.
No one would be discussing it, because there would be no talk of it, because there would be no fucking Mandela effect, because,
So Michael Evans, I hope I don't know you, because I know a Michael Evans.
Okay.
But you have to ask yourself, what does the carrier wave specifically do? Is it augmenting visual input, whatever, like that long word? Is it decreasing cognitive capacity?
Function.
What sensor channel is trying to be blocked or replaced? Like, that's a really, really,
That's a good point.
Yeah. And Michelle was saying earlier about the carrier wave, that could be the reason why we have in our ears. Like, are we hearing the frequency?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't.
I think this goes back to one thing that we always say, is that without knowing the end game, it's super hard to answer those questions, because we don't know what exactly they're trying to do. So we don't, it's like we're ants in an ant farm, but we have no idea what the whole outside bit is. We have no idea, So
we do actually. I mean, the New World Order, they want.
Well, we know that bit, I mean, we know, but
they want to do that. So
that could also be wrong. That could be a total psyop. That could be a total psyop.
It could be.
You know, I mean.
Yeah, it could be. It could be.
But I don't
thought
think
about
it
that
is,
a little bit. Okay, so I was thinking about
I mean, it's been going on for 30 years, 40, 50 years now. So a psyop that lasted 50 years?
Right. I mean, I think evidence.
Well, there's side stuff that can happen.
Everything they've done has been taking towards a new world order.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it's pointing in that direction.
But
so if we assume that's the direction they're heading, then we have to assume that the reason for this carrier wave is to keep us from seeing it, seeing the moves.
The thing is,
seeing the changes.
well, like I was saying earlier when we were talking, if you could control everything that we think, everything that we see, what we know as history, what we know as truth, what we know as fact, what we believe, what I look around and see, what my reality is, if you can control that, you have it all.
Yeah.
You have it all.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Somebody's vacuuming in my house, and I'm super excited. Sorry.
I'm super excited for you because that's like super awesome.
Yeah, right?
I know. I'm vacuuming in my house right now.
I was like, did I just hear a vacuum? But I smelled puppy poop, so whatever. So.
They may be vacuuming. They may be vacuuming it into the vacuum.
No. So, how does everyone?
Mrs. Iyer, Kenny, colliding black holes. Yeah. See, I've never seen evidence of a black hole. I've never seen a black hole. I've
only seen it in a telescope.
I believe in black holes. So, yeah.
I'm not even sure there is a black hole.
I've seen. All right, so.
The thing about that kind of stuff is we don't know.
Yeah.
Unless you've been to space, so.
I've seen the news articles, but I don't believe in an imaginary thing that they've made up that could be out in the middle of space, could possibly be sending waves through space-time. No, I don't believe that.
Okay, so the weird thing is, so before, like,
they're not too good with
we had a
either.
change or whatever, I think I was like maybe 9, and I would always go, because you guys know I like space stuff, like completely. I like my telescopes and all that stuff. And I went to the planetarium, and they fixated on a black hole, and I said, well, how can you even put a telescope on a black hole? And they're like, well, we have that. And I'm like,
yeah.
It was a little freaking telescope. How that black hole was way further away than what that little, because it was like the telescope I have, and it's like I have like an $800 telescope, and that's it. Like saying that there was a black hole right there and you could see it, which I saw. Like I looked. I saw it, what they considered a black hole. It was just like a black mass. It wasn't like
it's not
the time warp.
It's not the same thing. It's not.
It wasn't a time warp?
Yeah, it's not.
I don't know. I'm just
the same thing that
Matthew McConaughey is coming through my head right now.
Yeah, I know. All right.
But that's
the thing. But that's
you
like
ever seen a black hole? It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Perfect. You win.
That's how NASA gets their fucking money. Is by people they keep people scared. Like, oh my god, a black hole is gonna suck us in. We have to have all this money so we can study it. oh my
and keep the
God,
black hole from sucking us in.
this is gonna suck us in, or, oh, there's a giant asteroid coming that's gonna smash into us. We need money to fucking money. Fuck you and your money, NASA. You're fucking liars. Fuck you.
Oh, speaking of that,
NASA.
Now I gotta go all the way up the chat because I feel like never mind.
I saw.
Yeah, the chat went.
I saw on a video.
Don't worry.
I saw a video today where they showed the original, I guess, NASA footage from the alleged moon missions.
Oh God,
and
here we go.
Oh gosh, no! This is like such a. Oh, we cannot do
somebody
this tonight.
I just want to mention this.
You can't do this with me at 7:22. You can't.
No. I just have to mention it. I just have to mention it. Please, just let me mention this. They showed a picture. They had downloaded this video from their website, from NASA website. The video. And what happened was they showed that these astronauts were actually underwater and that there were actually divers helping them, and they had used some sort of a program to try to delete them from the film, but you could still see the air bubbles coming up, and you could see a tank appear in one point. You could see a flipper appear. At another point, you saw the hand on the leg holding the guy down. Yeah. So it was all fake. Yeah.
So I'm super into like space, and like I want it to be real, and I want everything. I haven't figured it out.
Space might be real. Doesn't mean that they necessarily went to the moon.
But I just want to. Well, yeah, and so that's one of the things that I look into, and I'm like, I really want this to be real. And then you find out, and I didn't even know that there was like so many like NASA missions that to the moon. Like, how do we not know about this? Because I would have figured this out whenever I was a little girl. Like, it was like
we never had sex.
Yeah. So I was thinking about it whenever I was a little girl. I used to get space books, and I'd read them with my dad. And I remember whenever Hale Bop came through. Yep, I'm showing my age.
Yeah.
Hale Bop came through, and we talked about it, and we like looked stuff up, and there was only one mission to the moon at that time.
Yes.
So.
Well, that was one of the things that got me too with the Mandela thing too. But that's one of the that was just one of the Mandela effects. Is that for some people it was one moon mission, for others it was.
As far as I know, yeah.
But the fact remains that they were all bullshit. So that's we got that.
Space could be real. Space could be real, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they went anywhere because it couldn't get through the radiation belt. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that's allegedly, but okay.
But that is for another show because you guys cannot get me started on this at
I know
5 minutes.
It's going to be pretty awesome, guys. Can we plug that?
This is going to be a 4.5-hour show.
Can we plug next? Can we plug next week?
Special. What we're talking about, or should we keep it secret?
Can we plug next week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah. Well, we might want to inform everybody of like our different time.
Yeah, we do have a few things going on next week, so because of the holiday. Apparently, there's holidays.
Yeah, there's some bullshit.
Holiday coming up.
So we will not have a show on Thanksgiving next week.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's Thanksgiving. People like to be with families and shit like that. But for those of you that are interested, I will be spending the day with Diana. My husband and I will be spending the day with Diana and her family So it'll be the first time that two gathering family members meet up. We're gonna do a bit of
we're gonna cook and we're gonna like
we're gonna do some live chatting. We're gonna do that over on my channel though. So you'll need to be subscribed on my channel if you want to see any of that bullshit. Yeah, but on Wednesday, we will do the show instead, which will be the 22nd, and that is going to be our big JFK show. Yeah, we're really looking forward to that. That's going to be a 2-hour show. We're going to do on JFK.
I'm so excited about this.
Yes, it's not our usual night. We're going to do Wednesday instead of Thursday next week. 2-hour show on JFK. Yeah, other than that, next week will be normal. Wait, were we going to do Tuesday still? We weren't, right?
We're doing Wednesday.
Yeah, we were just going to do Wednesday.
I got to cook for us, dude.
Just Wednesday, yeah. We're just going to do the big Wednesday show, and then just, you know, me and Diana being
over on your, on your channel.
On my channel. So, yeah. So that's what we got next week. So it's a little less gathering, a little bit more personal.
The girl's cooking.
We're getting personal, dude.
I know.
Personal. Yeah, you'll get to see us a little bit more personal.
Yeah.
If you're not, I mean, if you're subscribed to my channel, you've already seen, you know, a little bit of me being personal. But
no, we'll hang out. Like we're gonna hang out.
It'll be super
over
fun.
there.
Yeah. But yeah, that's next week.
And you might see my face.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So even though I am not, I don't usually celebrate Thanksgiving because I think the holiday is, you know, shit and all that, and it's a horrible thing. I am very excited to spend it with Diana and her family and to be welcome there and all that good stuff. And it's going to be awesome because
she just wants the food, guys.
I just want the family. No, I just want the family.
And the puppies. And the puppies. And the
I just want the puppies.
No, the puppies are going to be gone. No, dude.
Oh, no.
You guys know she promised me puppies. She promised me puppies, right?
She promised you puppies.
You guys were there.
I can get other puppies.
You better have puppies.
You better get the puppies.
Because they're leaving, and I'm super excited because they poop a lot. Like,
there better be a puppy somewhere. I don't care where you get it. You just better have a puppy for me somewhere.
I can have a puppy for you, and I will like hand it to you as you're walking up.
That's right. I want puppy.
There you go. There you go.
Puppy breath.
Made a puppy breath.
Puppy.
Belly. Give it to me.
We have closing statements. Diana.
Well, you know me.
Go.
And I say, help everyone and like do what you can do and be nice to people and whatever.
What
like just don't be an asshole. All right, guys.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I'm sending it off to Connor.
Oh my goodness. She's been hanging out with me too much, you guys.
Ooh, I noticed that. All right.
I'm wearing off on people and stuff.
Yeah. As far as mine, all I got to say is study. You know, keep researching, and you know, try to do something good for somebody. And if you want a friend, be a friend. You know, and we'll follow that path, truth wherever it leads you. You know, wherever the truth is, follow it. Yeah. Alice.
Hi.
True dat.
Yes, that's my name.
You next.
It's your turn.
Your turn.
Hi. We're saying goodbye. I hate
Goodbye.
Ooh,
goodbye.
and we're over too.
I don't wanna.
We're done.
I don't
We're done.
wanna. No, I don't wanna.
You're beautiful, Alice.
You're beautiful, Alice.
Can you
You're
guys?
beautiful, and we love you.
We love you.
Did I
Fucking
sound
dick.
like Joker right there?
You guys are
You're
dicks.
beautiful, and we love you.
Love you. We love you. We love you.
What are my closing statements today? Just fucking don't be a cunt. That's it. Just don't be a cunt. Yeah.
I agree.
And just try to keep the cuntiness down to like here, Like
Yeah.
don't let it go above here.
Yeah.
Above there.
Yeah.
Keep
And
it
why
Yeah,
do
okay.
it?
Yeah.
You know?
And if you
Yeah.
can, just keep it all the way down to there. And I know
Yeah.
it's hard. I have a hard time with it, but just keep it, on the level that you can. Keep it.
Otherwise, we're going to be starting a new business. The cake crowns.
Yeah, because
crowns for everybody.
Making cunt cake crowns takes a lot of work. Oh, and then I already got promos to do. I already got a lot of work.
Puppies.
Work.
Oh, God. If I gotta add a crown business to this too, oh my goodness.
I mean, Little Diva does that shit.
Yeah.
Work.
Work.
And I'm like, how do you know about that song? She's like, I heard it over at my friend's house, and I'm like, oh.
Where it always happens at the friend's house.
Yeah, always.
That's where I watched The Exorcist, and I've not been right since.
On top of getting like My Little Pony freaking Play-Doh. Shit.
Oh, Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Play-Doh. Yeah.
Play-Doh.
Sorry, guys.
Play-Doh
we're still
poo.
we're still actually on.
Yeah, we're still.
Yes, we are. Yes.
Shoot.
No,
You're
just
fine.
just reiterate what everybody says. Don't be a cunt. Be a friend. Help someone out. Show the love. And my usual, you are all beautiful. You may not be perfect, but you're perfect just the way you are, and you are capable of doing anything.
Yep.
We love you.
Boomtown.
We love you guys.
Thanks for tuning in.
We do.
Yes.
Thank you for coming and
Best
enjoying.
Yeah.
Best chat ever. Who's the best
love
chat
it.
ever?
We do
Who's the
have
best
a really
chat
good
ever?
chat.
Best chat ever.
Who's the best chat ever?
We do.
Best chat ever. That's right.
I agree.
That's right. Look at him
Look, they're all
scroll.
pouring
Look at
in.
they're
Look
so
at this.
awesome. Love
Yep.
you guys.
Love you guys.
I want to
we love you guys.
like each one
Thanks for
individually,
tuning in.
but I can't. But I love you.
Yeah.
Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Mwah. Good
Mwah.
night, everybody.
Goodbye. Good night, everybody.
See you in a few
Bye.
days. Bye.